Okay, let's see how this goes. Let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit, shall we? Let's go back in when the Earth first started. Let's go back to human beings. Lots of aliens that you would consider aliens on the planet. There are lots of different aliens that were involved with a lot of the creation of different versions of human beings. It's not just one, it's just not two, there weren't just two fights, there's been a lot. This trying to get down to the lower vibrations of 3D and then back up to 5 has been attempted with Earth staying relatively close to the human population. 3D, 4D, moving with the human population. It has been attempted, I think it's 7 times. Or this is the 7th time. And I could be wrong on that because, well, I just don't want to go look that hard. But it's been quite a few times to make this attempt to go from 3D to 4D, 5D relatively quickly. Or however people wanted to do it. It really was, the game was set up to do it, to play however you'd like. But what happened is when we dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when that happened, Gaia kind of sent a call out to everywhere. Not just this creation, but everywhere. Because I was outside of this creation when I heard the call. And she basically said, and of course there's no judgment or anything on the other side, but I'm going to use human verbiage to tell the story. So keep in mind that this is human verbiage to get this done, and that's not exactly right because the language is incorrect. So basically, Gaia called out and she said, oh, these guys are out of control. We got to do something. I need help. Now, about the same time, Gaia, who has her path too, she's ready to move up into 5D and beyond. And so the Earthlings, the Earthlings that are on the planet are a part of her. She wants all Earthlings, or all beings on this planet, to stay with her and to move to the higher vibrations. She's going to make that as possible as she can. But any being has the right to go on their own path too. So, so that's what happened. So the call was made, and it went out to everywhere, and a whole bunch of people responded, and I call those people Starseeds. Now, in reality, all humans on the planet are starseeded. I mean, technically. But I'm going to call the humans that have been here for a long time, most of them a very long time at this point. The ones that are still playing the game, they've been here a very long time. And then the Starseeds. And the Starseeds came popping in the first round of them, or it's kind of like a wave. It's kind of a wave that Starseeds come in. And it kind of peaks and then goes back down, then peaks and goes back down with different vibrational starseeds coming in for different reasons. And the first group that came in were right about hippie time. They were the hippies, peace, love, no war, and basically that was the simple way of doing it. And of course that didn't go over real well. It did raise the vibration of the planet a little bit, but there was a lot of turmoil with those starseeds. They really struggled. And let me pause here because the rest of it, that this is important for the rest of it as well. And a lot of you starseeds, you struggle with depression and pain. Okay, so let me explain why that's true. Is most of you came in from places that were much, much higher vibration than here. Most of you way beyond, way above 5D, way above it. So when you come here, the vibrations are so low. When you drop the vibrations that quickly, and then on top of that, you dropped into this human body that you were unfamiliar with, and these very low vibrations, which with this world that made no sense whatsoever, that people were really mean and really scared, and these are vibrations that you have not experienced before, and those vibrations are very painful to a higher vibrational person. And you came in, most of you, with amnesia. A lot of you came in with amnesia. So definitely the first waves, there's been a portion of people that came in with more or less amnesia, and that depended upon what they decided to do when they got here. But a lot of people have amnesia. So a lot of people came in, and first wave got here, and they were like, oh, this is not cool. This is way harder than it looks, and a lot of them died. Some of them went and kind of escaped via drugs because they couldn't handle the difference in the vibration. So some of them killed themselves. There was a lot of them that died. And so a lot was learned in that first wave. Let's say wave, because it looks more like a wave. So that first wave, and so when the next wave came in, there was the next wave, and there were adjustments made to make it easier. The first wave, the theory, the help that came in via these starseeds. The second wave, it was like, oh, okay, well, let's do it this way, and they tweaked it a little bit to send in the next wave of starseeds to give the energy of the planet what it needs and to help all the beings on the planet. And this goes on to second wave, third wave, and the different waves come in with different levels of understanding, and always the next wave has less amnesia as a general rule. If you put them all together, there's less amnesia, higher vibrations, and they fare a little bit better on the planet than the group before. Now, let's just call them the bad guys. You know I don't believe in good and bad, but in this game we're going to call them the bad guys, or the black hats, or the deep state, Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, okay? And the aliens that are involved with that, and there are a lot of them that are reptilian, but that does not mean that all reptilian beings are bad. They're not at all. That's like saying Manson was bad, so all humans are bad. No, it's not like that. These are big races too, with a lot of beings. So, but it just so happens that the reptilians are who you know, so, and they are very directly involved. So, they're closer to the planet than the beings that were kind of organizing the waves. So they noticed these waves coming in, the reptiles, the Illuminati, the bad guys. And they went, oh, this is going to interfere, because really the reptilian beings, they believe that they were here before the humans were here. And so they believe that the humans are the problem, that they came and took over their planet, and they want their planet back. So everything that they've done for their minds is not bad. It's they want their planet back, and they want humans to be slaves, and they feed off the lower energy, like the vibrations of fear and anger, depression. Those vibrations, they feed on that, and we do that too. So before you freak out and go all matrixy, people do it all the time. We exchange energy all the time, and that's what they're doing. They're just taking that energy. It's just that they live on those lower vibrations, and that's what they use. That's what they take in, is the lower vibrations. Okay, so the reptilians think, they believe they were here first. They've got a lot of history on the planet, and they think that the humans came in and took their planet over, and they want it back. So they also are aware that humans are more star-seeded than they are. So the bad guys, alien bad guys, they consider the humans star-seeded, and that they're bringing in all of this spiritual energy from higher levels, and they're not as in touch with Gaia at all. So yeah, they're very limited, and they do have amnesia. And remember, they're just creator gods, just like you, playing a role in this game. So basically, Gaia is involved in this, and they just kind of blow that part off. So, and Gaia kind of trumps everybody on the planet, because nobody can interfere with her either. So she's moving up to 5D and then eventually beyond. And so she makes the call, the waves come in, the bad guys start watching that, and they say, oh, no, we don't, we need to interfere with that, because all of these high vibration people are going to come in with limited amnesia, and they're going to take over this world just too sweet. So we can't have that. So they started, right as your body, right as your soul, I guess, gets ready to plop into that baby's body, wherever it is, and that can be many different areas of the process of a growing fetus. So that's a whole nother story. But whenever that being goes to plop in there, then they would shuffle it. They'd go, quick switch, and that's what they did to me. Because I was supposed to be born somewhere else with friends, what would be on the other side, friends and family. We all came together as a group, and they switched me. They switched one other member of that group, that family, but they did switch me, and they switched me over to what they knew was going to be a very, very dysfunctional family, and that way they could interfere with my vibrations. They would interfere with how effective I was on the planet, and it worked like a charm. Of course, all they had to do was put me in there, that family. Very quickly I developed a very high sense of fear, and of course then, as a creationary god, I started creating more and more trauma myself. So they just had to start the process, start the domino effect, and then I took over from there, of course, until I died, came back, and yeah, and I'm got full recall of the whole thing, no amnesia, and can talk to you guys. So, you Starseeds, a lot of you this happened to, that they did this switcheroo, which is why you have this feeling of not belonging to your families, is because that something's wrong. So you're on a planet that nothing doesn't make sense, because these creationary gods are just doing some crazy things and making their lives miserable. So you can see that. You are born into this lower vibration that's going to physically be painful to you, and a lot of them switched you over so that you would have some kind of trauma. Okay? And these guys are good, so don't underestimate them. They're good. You have to be on top of their game, and it is a game. So I intend to win this game. I'm going to beat them, and that's part of the fun, really. It's how I change this around and make it fun. Because these guys are good. They've taken over everything on this planet. But the one thing that they cannot control is they cannot control a creator god once they're aware. And that trumps everything. And then you control everything in your universe, which is what I do. Okay. So, that is why you feel bad. That's why you're in pain. Now let's cover another thing, especially with women, that this is true. That there is a lot of eating disorders. Okay? Well, where you came from, you were in control of everything. You knew you were a creator god, and you created everything, went where you wanted to go. Lots of freedom. And here, you dropped down in this body, got switched over to a dysfunctional, traumatic situation, and lost control of everything. Everything. So now you're in this world that doesn't make sense, in this body that's extremely painful. You have no control over anything anyway. That's what you've been taught. Yeah, that's your situation. And so a lot of times, food is the only thing that you can control. There are star-seeded people that do get into the drugs because they can control that. The addictions we talked about earlier, although that caused so much negative energy on those things, I just yanked them off. So if you want to see them, let me know, and I'll put it up for you to watch. But they just drew a lot of, not from the people here, but from the people on the planet in general. And I didn't mean to do that, so I'll do that, work on those vibrations kind of on my own, okay? Back it up some. So that explains a little bit of back history about humans on the planet, why the reptilians are kind of nasty and fighting, and some about the waves that came in. There's a lot of other things that happened with all the different waves. The different waves are very unique. They each have a story, and they each have layer upon layer. On top of that, when I was talking about down the rabbit hole, when we go to sleep, we do more things that are concerning this transition of this planet, especially starseeds. I do a lot of stuff on the other side. But although I don't dream, I know what I'm doing on the other side, so a lot of it is tied in together with what I do as an awake person in a human body. And a lot of you guys do that too. A lot of you guys do that too. One of the main things we're all working with right now is trying to realign divine masculine and divine feminine. So if you want to give us a hand right here, right now, if you don't know what divine masculine and divine feminine attributes are, please Google it. They're on there in detail. And if you would, just visualize all the women and all the men on the planet being divine masculine and divine feminine. And I don't mean that the women have to be feminine, men masculine. Whatever your thing is, male or female, let's balance those divine masculine and divine feminine, because that has to be done first before we can merge them into unity consciousness, going into 5D. So we have to get to the divine thing first, then we'll merge, then we'll go over. Okay? It's a big one. It's a big one, because divine masculine and divine feminine are massively messed up right now. But it's getting awesomely better, and it's worlds better than it was a year ago. We're zooming in the right direction. So if you'd add your energy to that, I'd sure appreciate it. See that we're all that way. I know women, you've got a lot of reason to be mad. I certainly do. I've had a lot of bad things happen to me at the hands of men. But that's not divine masculine. And divine masculine is wonderful. And I've seen a couple of them, felt a couple of true divine masculine energies on